Hi there, this is Kiriki for CIT 260. Um, this is for the final presentation to go over some of the things we covered in our project and to cover a couple more objects. So one of the things we need to talk about is static versus instance. I'm going to go over here. So this is a private static. So statics can be referred um, to make something like it sounds static. So that means it's something that doesn't change, um, or at least it doesn't change as easily as having an instance of something. So while you may be able to change some aspects of it, you're not calling an entirely um, new thing every time you use something that's static. One of the other main things we need to address is array versus array list versus enum. So an array is a grouping of the same kind of piece of information. So you can have an array of ints, you can have an array of strings, but everything in the array has to be the same. Another thing with an array list is that they can be objects, which is really handy in Java because we deal with a lot of objects, especially in this program. We have games, and they're interesting, and they're fun, and they have so many objects running around that sometimes you need to have an array list to keep track of them all. Another thing is enums. Enums are super handy if you want to have um, a list of things that are referred to that never change. So once you set them, you can refer to them anywhere, but you can't add to them, you can't remove them from the list, you can't do anything with them because they're already set up. You can assign some, like, you can give them, oh, where's the, why don't I just show you? Not that one. My bad. That one. Okay, so an enum has these oxen, and then um, it has it has attributes. That's the word, attributes. So oxen. So this is how it's stylized to the user, and this is the cost. Um, so that way it gives it so the string key and the integer value. So those are the attributes that are given after the enum. So oxen, food, water, clothing, ammunition, spare parts. These are all the supply types we have, and we refer to them in a lot of different places. So having them in an enum sets it up so we can refer to this enum of supply types and have it be the same every single time we talk about it. We have it oxen, food, water, clothing, ammunition, spare parts. Not just oxen, food, water, but oxen, food, water, clothing, ammunition, spare parts every single time we talk about them. So that's kind of helpful, and that shows you what an enum kind of is all about. Um, okay, so let's go back to the map controller so I can show you a thing. Okay, so on map controller, I wanted to show you this. This is a for statement, and it steps you through a multi-dimensional an array. So it steps through all of these rows and columns and makes sure that all of them have an assigned value of false. We set the set visited true for our starting location later on. So this will step through all of them and make sure our 10 by 10 is all set up so that way none of them have been visited except for the starting location. And we set them up as a location so that way um, they're able to be a working location. Um, so that's my for statement there. So I want to show you a couple of things for our runtime errors. So this is, I worked on part of the assignment that had swapping out all of the errors and showing the displays. So this is how date and view goes. So it does this, get class, get name, so that way it will refer it to the error log. And then the supply wait control has the runtime exception stuff. It's all set up so that way the supply wait controller will have the right exceptions thrown when it gets triggered. So another thing we need to talk about is stream versus byte. So stream is 16-bit and byte is 8-bit, which changes a lot of things you can do with them. 16-bit is just, you can do more. And one of the things you do with stream is you write character data to external files. And one of the ways we do that is with the errors, and we do that in error view. So we get the class name and the error message, and we print it to our external file. So that way we can keep a log of all the errors we have, because that's really important when you're making your own game, that you're logging your errors, so that way they can tell you what's going on, especially with this one, because it's a pretty simplistic game, and it'd be awful if it didn't work right. Sorry. Okay, and now let's try and start her up. Alright, so let's name me, and then I want to start a new game. The name of this game is going to be Journey. Okay, I'm going to pick Bill, Bob, and Sue. And we're going to move forward. We're going to go to, let's go to 2, 1. Oh, the x coordinate first. So 1, 2. Okay. So we have reached the plains, we can do all these things, we can rest, we can get help. Okay, we can look at all of these things. Return to the start. And then we can exit game. And everything worked out okay. Oh, I should have shown you the map after I moved. That's okay. Alright. Well, that's our game. You can move around. If you find the river, you can die. Which is sad, but that's how Oregon Trail goes. Especially with the final river sequence at the very end with the Willamette River. Anyways, so that's our project. Thanks.